So here we are, I'm James Knight. We're on the 76, which actually has it's one of the few boats that has the 78 badge on it. You know, the reality is, all the later ones are the same length. They're all 78s, but this one actually has a 78 badge on it. It was really, really cool. It has the extension on the back. And then look at the threshold down here. I love these Nordhaven thresholds. So well thought out. And the teak decks, awesome. We'll work our way back to the back of the boat. Look at this. Okay, look at this. I love these black windows. They look so nice. They don't look so great up close, but when you step away from the boat and you look at the profile view of this boat with these black outline windows, they look so cool. I love what Nordhaven's doing with the new boats too, with the black windows. They don't have the frames. They're just a solid black strip around the boat. It looks so modern. Anyway, this boat was knurled nuts at the top. That is so cool. So on the back of Ammonite, we have these warping winches. Well, everybody thinks they're warping winches, but in actual fact, these are for pulling prawn pots. That's what I was told. Prawn pots. You bring the prawn pot up through the hose pipe, you bring the line up, wrap it around the warping winch. These are electric 2200 Maxwells. And you can bring the pot up from 300 feet down in about a minute. How awesome is that? Oh, and you can bring a prawn pot up on both port and starboard side. Another Maxwell 2200 warping winch. And as you can see, we've got our starboard side walkway as well. You can dock this boat port or starboard side too and have easy access, center boarding door. Or if you're anchored, you can have boats come up on either side and you've got access here. And another threshold, another beautiful Nordhaven threshold, easy to get on and off. Look at it. I mean, look at the attention to detail. You got to see these polished stainless steel ends on the cap rails where the boarding gate is. They are so cool. Okay. So I'm honest, there are some things about these boats that are not very well thought out. One of them is the fact that this door doesn't fit, but they made it fit by cutting this little spot out on the sidewalk here. Is that? Yeah, they came up with a solution. The other thing that I'm not that fond of is these windows. You know, you got a window, it'd be nice to have a view. No view. But we have cut these out on some of the other 76s and actually made a hole right here so that you can see out. That's something that we can do. It's very thoughtful when somebody puts a hole in the cushion so you can get to the hose pipe. So many times I've been on the back of a boat trying to tie the line up and I got to rip the cushion out of the way to get to the hose pipe. I like that. Very thoughtful. So in here, this is really cool. We've got fresh water, we've got seawater. If you're washing fish or something, you caught a fish and you want to use some seawater to clean it. And then here we've got a high pressure deck wash system. So there's a pressure washer and you plug your wand in here. And then here we've got compressed air. So I think it's using the same compressed air as the Horn uses up on top. That is so cool. And we also have it not only on the aft deck, but we got it on the Portuguese bridge. We've got it up on the foredeck in the locker under the davit. And we got it on the flybridge. Look at this grill. Man, this is hokey. I mean, that's some serious hardware. And here underneath, we have a fryer, which a lot of people aren't going to use, but it's nice to have. And then we've got the Miele grill, electric grill in the middle, and a hot plate there too. Nice barbecuing area with a sink also. And a serious lid. I mean, look at that thing. Wow. Standing in the back of the salon, I was just admiring these beautiful doors and the woodwork and the phantom screens. There's so much to offer here. Oh, and I was looking down here at the engine room temperature. So here I can see the temperature in the lazarette, I can see the temperature in the engine room, I can see the humidity, there's a weather station on top. That's kind of nice to know. Engine room temperature is super important. And then I was reminiscing. So years ago there was no way to control the chilled water system. So we put in TWLC, tempered water logic controller, so you can actually see what's going on in the air conditioning here from the salon instead of having to go down to the engine room to do it, which is kind of nice. So we can see which chillers are working. There's 3 chillers on this boat, and I can see what the loop temperatures are, supply and return, as the chilled water moves around the boat, which is really cool. And so working through the salon here, I'll show you a few things. Don't want to take up too much time, but this table, we already talked, I think, about the ice box in the middle of the table with the Ammonite etched into there. This table, depending on the size of your guests, shouldn't say any more than that, you can slide the whole table out to make a little bit more space, breathing room. There's room for 8 around this table, probably more, and maybe during this COVID-19 thing, maybe less, because we're supposed to be social distancing. Kai's been using this TV up here to view slideshows, and that's really nice. When you're having dinner, you can watch the slides from your recent trips. Beautiful rope lighting, accent lighting above here. We've got a drinks refrigerator right here, and over there we've got a wine cooler. It's very nice. And what do we have? Oh, you got to see this. This comes with the boat. An Ammonite. Okay, so over here we've got more wine storage under this table. And if you think it's complicated in the pilot house, check out the rows of light switches. I think there's 100 light switches on this boat. There are lights for everything. Accent lights, LED lights, 240 volts. So this boat is a 240 volt 50 cycle boat. Here's the electrical panel. So this is a 240 volt 50 cycle vessel. We are plugged into US power right now on the dock here at Old Port Cove, and we are running on an Atlas frequency conversion system. So the Atlas is changing the 60 cycle power to 50 cycle, which is what this boat requires. And here we can see what's going on with the shore power. So we can see our shore power. Actually, we can't see what's coming in, but we can see what it's being converted to. If we went down to the Atlas, we could see what's coming in, but here we got 50 cycle power, and this tells us what our 40 kW is doing, what our 27 kW is doing, and then our inverter system, which is presently battery charging, but that's the voltage that's coming through the inverter. This boat's also been equipped now with an automatic generator starting system on the 27 kW generator. It's tied into the battery monitor here, so you can set that up so that the generator automatically comes on to charge the batteries if the voltage gets low. That's a pretty nice system, and that was added last year, I believe, up in Seattle. And we have an inverter controller down there and breakers for everything on the ship. One of my favorite places on the boat is sitting over there, not the galley, sitting over there, drinking a rum and coke, watching the chef. And this is a great place to be if you're a chef, as long as the boat's not bouncing around. We've got a Miele dishwasher, we've got a trash compactor, we've got a Miele microwave oven, regular oven, and one of my favorites, the Nespresso coffee maker, again Miele. Storage everywhere in this galley. A couple of Sub-Zero refrigerators. We've got a Sub-Zero freezer drawer. Second freezer drawer down here has an ice maker in it, and then we've got cool boxes for vegetables and what have you here. And my favorite, did I say my favorite? My second favorite, my other favorite thing about this galley is the pantry storage. Look at this pantry storage. My goodness, for all your dry goods, bottles, beans, pulses, rices, sugars. There's 4 of them, and they are big. Look at that. And everywhere you look, the Wenge wood is just beautiful. I shouldn't touch it. I don't want to leave fingerprints on it. Oh, and you got to come see this. Another one of my favorite things about this boat. I got to be careful how I do this, because oftentimes it comes down quicker than I want it to. Just have to give it the gentle tap. How's that for glass storage? This actually has counterbalance weights built in. I can't imagine how much time and money and effort went into designing this whole thing. Look at the counterbalance weights up here. Right? And the wires and pulleys and what have you to make it easy to slide it up and down. How cool. Oh, what else have we got in here? Well, I'll tell you, there's more drinks storage and more glass storage. So in here we've got plexiglass drawers for all the wine glasses, real glasses. Everything comes with the boat, by the way. We've got our ice bucket, cocktail shakers. We've got champagne flutes. Oh, and everything's lined and made to take these glasses. Look at this. There's dozens and dozens and dozens of them. If you had to have these made here, it would cost you a fortune. Those are so cool. And more drawer storage. And off to the master stateroom. But before we get there, etched glass. Okay, and just off the starboard side of the galley here, we have access to a day head, which is nice. It's far enough away from the salon that your guests can come away from the activity and use the head. So, can you imagine being anchored in a beautiful lagoon or a beautiful anchorage in the Bahamas with gin clear water, and waking up in the morning, the sun's coming up, and you've got these windows, port and starboard side of the master stateroom bed, king size bed right there. You wake up, you've got the blue reflection off the water and the sandy bottom is reflecting. You can see the ripples on the overhead, and you've got this view out of these absolutely amazing windows. Downside, you got to keep them clean. But wow, what a view. Master bed and head and shower up forward. Jetted tub, heated towel bars. Those are nice and warm. Check out the drain for the shower. I love these drains. So the shower itself doesn't have a drain, but the threshold has this grill with a drain underneath it, so the water gets caught in the little threshold there. I love it. Imagine the amount of work that went into putting that together. His and hers sinks. All right. Lots of closet space. So here I am at the helm of Ammonite 7814, and it is a commanding view from this stid chair. Sitting here, you can see over the foredeck, it looks like you're running a freighter. And the average person comes up into this pilot house, and it's a bit daunting because there's buttons and there's gauges and there's monitors and there's controls. But the reality is that it's really quite easy to get your head around. Once you start learning what does what, it's all very much within the grasp of the average person. We've got water maker controls, we've got GPSs, we've got monitoring equipment up there for the grey and black water system, we've got engine controls perfectly positioned right in front of you so you can see what the oil pressures are and the temperatures and what have you. We've got our stabilizer control right there so that you can see what the fins are doing. You can control the gain on the stabilizers and make them work harder or less hard depending on the sea conditions if you want to. We've got a Navtex controller, which honestly people don't really use around here. That's more for European waters. We've got the AIS there, pulling in targets and sending out your position so people know who you are and where you are. We've got the Kallenberg horn controller. We've got a satellite compass. We've got generator controls. We've got a slew of buttons there that look like from the cockpit of a 747. But the reality is that a lot of them are just monitoring bilge pumps, and you've got your air intakes, ventilation for the engine room, we've got hydraulic pump selectors, and we've got some deck light controls there, but nothing too complicated. We've got some indicators there. If you've got bilge alarms, they come up right there. You'll have an audible alarm that'll tell you if there's a problem, and that'll tell you where the problem is as well. That's nice to have red lights in the corner. And then down here we've got, this is a perfect array of electronics. We've got our displays all clearly right in front of you. You can get to everything. We've got our engine control, so if you need to throttle back in a hurry, they're only an arm length away. We've got a steering station, we've got autopilot control, so you really don't have to move very far. This is a super comfortable chair, by the way, the Stid. Orthopedic surgeon, I think, designed these. I love sitting in these Stids, and you need a nice chair when you're sitting on watch for 4 hours at a time, and I can do that quite easily in a Stid chair. We've got a Navnet 3D. We have a Time Zero computer navigation system over there. You have to switch seats, big deal. Got to do something to keep yourself awake at night. It's all too easy. Carlisle Finch searchlight control, so if you want to pick up somebody at a distance, you can turn the searchlight on right here and you can focus in. It's like a laser beam. Got to be careful not to set fire to them. And over there we've got some extra radios. We've got an HF radio, there's a little nav station over there, satellite telephone, we've got our microphones, there's a loud hailer if you want to grab somebody's attention out in front of you. And you know, that's it really. We've got some, we've got chain counters over there for both anchor windlasses, so we can see how much chain we're putting out, which is really nice. You don't have to worry about counting the colors or counting the colors on the chain or figuring how much chain you've got out. It does it all for you right there. And then we've got a small control panel down here, a breaker panel where you can control the 24 volt and the 12 volt DC systems. So, and then behind us over there we've got a little refrigerator. So if we want a drink, we can pop down here and pull a Coke out of the fridge. That's pretty nice to have. And then of course the ultimate is not having to go down below to use the bathroom. So back here we've got a small captain's cabin. Actually not so small. We've got a captain's cabin in there. We've got a little head, so you don't have to go downstairs if you want to use the bathroom. So in the back of the pilot house on the port side here, we've got a little office area which can be used for just general office work, or if you want you can have navigation software for planning purposes back here in the corner away from the main pilot house area. A little printer, the storage for all the systems, pamphlets, booklets, instruction manuals, telephone on the wall there. It's a nice little area right under the access to the flybridge. So here I am in the captain's cabin, or what some people refer to as the captain's cabin on Ammonite. It's at the back of the pilot house. You've got a view, you've got a blind here, and you've got a view of the pilot house so you can see what's going on. The reality is that actually this is more of an owner's cabin than a captain's cabin. More often than not, when an owner is taking this boat on a long trip, rather than go sleep down below in the forward cabin, you know, this is a pretty comfortable spot. And whoever's on the helm back there, or up there, if they need assistance in checking a ship or doing some chart work or whatever, you want to have a second person within easy reach. So having somebody sleeping back here in this cabin behind the pilot house is perfect. You can just knock on the door or get their attention and you've got somebody sitting next to you at a moment's notice. And it's a comfortable place to be. It's at the back of the boat. Now these beds are right now put together as a double, but you can see the tracks on the floor. If you look down there, there's a track here, there's a track here. This bed separates and half of it pulls across the bedside table or nightstand, switches and goes in the middle. So you've got a nightstand in the center and two twin beds, one either side of the cabin. So you've got complete flexibility there. Nice little TV. You want to watch movies while you're off watch, and let's move on. And then over here on our starboard side behind the helm position, so if you've got guests on board and they want to come up and watch what's going on in the pilot house, it's a really nice sitting and even a dining area up here. And I'm sure you could probably fit about 8 people around these tables. There's a second or a last piece of table that fits in between here and clips in place to make a full table where you could have some nice eats while the captain's driving the ship. As we come around the port mid-deck on Ammonite, you'll notice the modified railings. The 4th railing on the top was added as per MCA safety regulations some years ago. And we have an aft-facing seating area with some teak grated tables. Pretty big deck for adding chairs and sitting back here watching the water sports activities off the aft deck. So here we are on the flybridge. Wow, it's huge. And the first thing you see coming up here is this refrigerator. It's got ice in there, a little ice maker in there. Oh, it makes me thirsty. Perfect. I'll have one of those. And we've got a sink over here. We've got a lounging area, more stood chairs, and another autopilot remote, which is kind of nice when you're sitting here. You don't have to reach forward, so you can pull this and actually steer the boat right here with this little knob. We've got another new display. We've got a Navnet 3D. We've got steering. You know, the reality is, when you're parking this boat, you're probably not going to do it up here for very often because you can't really see a whole lot. It's nice if you're cruising out at sea to be up here and you do have control, and you probably could park the boat from up here, but you're going to be hopping back and forth and looking over the side to see where you are when you've got a perfectly good wing station down there that you can use. But yes, you've got it all here. You've got bow thruster controls, you've got port and starboard engine controls, you've got steering, you've even got stabilizer control, so you can center the fins. We've got a navnet. Oh, actually, no, that is a forward-looking sonar control, so you can drop it down under the boat, pops out the bottom of the boat. That's one of those things that people don't use very often. You need a degree to figure out how to decipher the image you're getting. But you know, an expensive piece of kit, and if you learn how to use it properly, nice to have. We've got anchor windlass controls, we've got start-stop buttons on the engines, we've got another Carlisle Finch searchlight control here. The compass, which nobody uses anymore, of course. It's nice to have if everything else fails. It doesn't happen very often. We've got our depth sounder, we've got wind, we've got engine controls, so we can monitor again oil pressures and temperatures and RPMs and all of that. Fuel burn even on those. And then we've got our VHF radio and our boat speed. So it's all there. Underneath here we've got the air conditioners. Up under the flybridge we got the air conditioner modules, the air handlers for the pilot house air conditioning. And we got another nice seating area here that, so if you've got guests on board, they can sit and watch what's going on and enjoy the air. We're not going to go up there, but boy, there's a lot of real estate up there. And you got your mast and your antennas and yes, there are a whole slew of antennas up there. You know what's nice about this boat? This boat's been modified also, because these railings were never this high originally. This railing's been put on since the boat was built. I think I mentioned it yesterday. This boat was MCA certified. The previous owner did it because he was considering chartering the boat. And in order to do that, the railings weren't high enough. So this top railing was added, which actually makes you feel really comfortable in here. No risk of you falling over. And it was done on the second deck also. We're up on the third deck now. We're a long way off the water. And again, great view from up here. Fishing pole holders, so that if you are up here driving from the flybridge and you've got a pole in the water back there, you can hear it when the fish strikes. Now, dealing with it from up here is a different matter, but you'd have to pass the pole down, which you could do from top deck to mid deck to lower deck. You'd have to have a couple of people to do that. That's awesome. We've got our track phone, track vision domes up there, and we have a sun awning also that electrically pulls out from the top to cover the sun deck. All right, we're going to head down below. So turning around and moving forward on the starboard side here, we've got the guest stateroom with a walk-around queen, and then up on the aft bulkhead of that cabin there is a pull-down Pullman berth, which doesn't get used very often, but it gives you an extra bed there if you want it. On the port side, we've got the guest head and shower with two non-opening ports, generous vanity area there, and a large shower. Moving further forward on the starboard side, we have another queen walk around. This would be the VIP with two more non-opening ports there. And then forward of that, we've got the ensuite shower and bathroom. Again, large vanity area, lots of storage, mirrored storage there. We've got the heated towel bar up on the forward bulkhead there. And a large walk-in shower. Now, moving back aft again through our Navy destroyer door, we head into the engine room where we've got the twin MTU Series 60 engines. Really good standing headroom in this engine room. You can see there we've got the fuel manifold, an oil change system on the forward bulkhead. The MTUs here I think have been increased to 500 horsepower apiece, if I'm not mistaken. Recently serviced, and the heat exchangers were pulled out and cleaned up and put back. That was all done within the last 6 months. Large generator with the PTO for the star stabilization at rest system there on the inboard side of the Onan. Looking forward, you can see the fuel filters on the forward bulkhead. The exhaust risers have been done. The wraps have been replaced.